I never thought the wide-open skies of Montana could feel so suffocating. But that day in our family ranch house, they did. The sun poured through the kitchen windows, casting long shadows across the worn oak table where Mom was slicing into the Thanksgiving turkey. Her knife moved with that steady rhythm she'd honed from years of ranch life. Practical.
No nonsense.
Your sister's family will always come first, she said, not even looking up. You're always last in line. Dad just nodded, fork in hand, like she was commenting on the dry spell hitting our cattle fields. I didn't flinch, didn't raise my voice. Good to know, I replied, my tone flat as the prairie outside. That was the pivot point. The moment I stopped chasing their approval like a stray dog begging for scraps. I pulled back my savings, my weekends helping on the ranch, my dreams tangled up in theirs. I built my own path, brick by quiet brick. And when their world cracked open wider than a canyon, they came knocking on my door, expecting me to swing it wide. But let's rewind, because you need the full trail to see how I ended up here. Growing up on our spread in the Bitterroot Valley, favoritism wasn't shouted from the rooftops, it whispered in the wind. You felt it in the creak of the screen door when Harper walked in. How conversations lit up like a bonfire. For me, Riley, it was more like embers dying out. No one spelled it out, it was baked into the daily grind. When Harper hit 16, the whole yard sparkled under the floodlights. Mom and Dad had parked a shiny new pickup truck right there, red bow on the hood, camera at the ready. I watched from the barn loft, hay scratching my arms, as they handed her the keys. Mom's voice carried clear. This is for your bright future. Honey, worth every penny. My chest tightened. What made her future shine brighter? We both pulled our weight, mending fences, feeding the horses, straight A's in school. But she got the wheels. And I got... what? 6 months later, my 16th rolled around.
No lights. No fanfare.
Just a card slid across the breakfast table under the fluorescent hum. Proud of you, it read in Dad's blocky handwriting. I forced a smile, knowing the drill. Harper was the star, I was the supporting cast. College hit the same uneven ground. Harper got the full ride, tuition checks, books, even a cozy apartment near Montana State.
Me?
A stern talk about bootstrapping it, building character through hard knocks. You're tough, Riley, Mom said, like it was a badge I'd pinned on myself. You'll thrive on your own. So I did. Hauling hay bales at dawn for a local feed store. Coding freelance gigs into the night on my beat-up laptop. One bitter winter morning, frost biting my fingers as I stacked crates in the warehouse. I pictured Harper snug in her paid-for digs, probably hitting snooze. It wasn't pure envy gnawing at me. It was exhaustion, bone deep, from running twice as fast just to keep pace. My last shift before community college, I stared at a faded poster in the break room, a family on a dude ranch vacation. All grins and linked arms. Harper had scrapbooks full of those Yellowstone trips, ski weekends at Big Sky.
Me?
After 13, I was always cropped to the edge in photos, like an afterthought in my own story. My associate's degree ceremony came and went like a dust storm. Mom and Dad were often Bozeman for Harper's bridal shower, couldn't make it. I walked the stage solo, name echoing in the half-empty auditorium. Called home after, heart pounding. Mom picked up, rushed. That's great.
Sweetie.
But Harper's got wedding jitters, we're helping with the fittings. Talk soon. She didn't. I sat in my truck in the parking lot, diploma on the dash, watching other grads hug their folks, tears flowing free. I told myself I didn't need the fuss. but damn, I did. Craved it like rain on parched land. Transferring to the University of Montana on a partial scholarship? They called it neat. Harper's wedding?
Un spectacle.
The reception at the old barn venue glowed with string lights. Relatives slapped my back, saying how lucky I was to have a sister like her. As if her glow rubbed off. It didn't. Not one bit. After grinding through my engineering degree, nights blurring into code and coffee, choosing rent over rest, I waited for a nod. Mom congratulated me while stirring soup for Harper's new baby. Dad asked about jobs over the roar of his truck engine, heading to help Cody, Harper's husband, with their fence line. No one probed how I'd clawed my way there alone. No one cared what came next. By then, I'd stopped expecting a seat at the table. I claimed my own. Started small, side investments in local startups. Tight budgets. A modest cabin on the outskirts of Missoula. My name wasn't etched on the family ranch deed, but it was on my own title. Looking back, the pattern was as clear as a mountain stream. Every holiday, every hardship, Harper front and center.
Me?
Drifting in the current. Between the truck keys she dangled and the birthdays I marked alone, I internalized my rank.
Last.
Always. The text buzzed in on a crisp fall Wednesday, family powwow Sunday.
Urgent.
No details. No check on my schedule. Felt like a subpoena, not calling. Stepping into the ranch house that weekend, the air hung heavy with unspoken dread. Papers cluttered the coffee table, mortgage notices, overdue bills, legal docs stamped red. Harper perched rigid, knuckles white. Cody stared at his boots. Mom and Dad flanked them in their worn armchairs, like judges in a frontier court. Mom cut straight, troubles hit. Harper and Cody are in a bind. Bind? Try avalanche. Their ranch mortgage lagged months. The kids' private school fees piled up. Some lawsuit over a botched cattle deal had sidelined Cody's work. Numbers screamed ruin. Dad rubbed his temples. We've crunched it. We can chip in some, but not enough. Harper needs backup now. I sat still, letting the silence stretch like barbed wire. How long till they rope me in? Not long. Mom leaned in. We're counting on you for the rest. Riley, you're flying solo. Good job. No big overheads. It's logical. There it was, the old hierarchy, raw and unvarnished. No query on my finances. My strains. Just presumption. Dad pushed a list my way. Mortgage arrears. Tuition. Lawyer fees. Highlighted in yellow, my share. $45,000. Like I'd stashed it under my mattress for their rainy day. Harper murmured, "We need you, sis," her eyes pleading like a calf in distress. The room spun, the tick of the grandfather clock, the distant low of cattle, decades of slights pressing like a brand. I didn't snap. Just scanned the figures, met their gazes, and let quiet reign. They awaited my yes. I said, "Give me a day." The drive back to my cabin was a blur of golden aspens and empty highways. No radio. Just the rumble of my tires and Mom's words looping. "You're always last." It had slipped out casually over turkey, but it echoed through every choice they'd made, every slight I'd swallowed. Now, they wanted me to erase it for their sake. I pulled up, killed the engine, stood in the pine-scented dusk. My place was simple log walls, a stone hearth built from my sweat, my scrimping. For years, I'd borne their load without a whimper, thinking protest futile. But this quiet felt potent, a storm brewing. Inside, I fired at my laptop. First,
Finance, checking.
Savings, IRAs, stock portfolios from tech gigs. The totals didn't shock. I tracked them religiously, a habit born of neglect. Disciplined saving,
No explorjes.
auto transfers to growth funds. I'd lived like the overlooked kid, always bracing for abandonment. That caution had forged a nest egg they knew zilch about. I segmented it all: new accounts, passwords, firewalls. Then archived statements. Years of proof, self-reliant.
Fitting.
Jordan, my partner, dropped takeout on the counter, sensing the vibe. They didn't pry, just observed from the couch, steady as the Rockies. When they finally approached, hand on my shoulder, this isn't betrayal, it's self-preservation. The words sank in, straightening my resolve. I opened a spreadsheet next, plugging in their demands: mortgage fix, school bills, legal aid. Cold math exposed it, not aid, but a hijack of my future. They'd framed it as family bonds, but I'd paid premium for a role that sidelined me. Cursor flashing. I added columns, conditions. If I stepped in and I wavered, it wouldn't be martyrdom. A formal loan. 4% interest, fair market in Montana. 6-year term. Required budgeting classes through the extension service. Joint counseling.
Plus.
A signed letter admitting the favoritism that scarred me. No vengeance, just equity. Like settling a ranch dispute in small claims court. Each term crisp. Enforceable under state law.
No luprotes.
Printed it out. Stacked neat. Then boundaries. Cancelled autopays for family odds, holiday gifts. Shared streaming. Gas for ranch runs they'd never repaid. Click after click. Like shedding old hides. Phone next. Scrolled texts where I'd caved. Sure. I'll cover vet bills. Yeah. Watch the kids. Always yielding. Never questioned. Saw the imbalance stark. Drafted an email. I won't shoulder your choices anymore. Saved for if push came. Cabin quiet saved the wood stove crackle. Jordan said softly, "You've been gasping for air forever. This is your first full breath." Shoulders eased. Tension uncoiled. I sealed the folder. Tomorrow, they'd expect surrender. But this was armor. They waited in formation. Papers like evidence in a trial. Jordan sat by the window. Witness silent. Mom started. "Glad you're back. Let's hash this." Dad. "Knew you'd step up." Riley. "Harper. Means the world." Premature gratitude. I set the folder down. Flipped it open. Bank printouts. Asset overviews. Projections. Air shifted. Mom frowned. "What's this?" I slid a sheet. Background. Dad scanned. Eyes widening, not just sums, but revelation. Their ignorance of me. Mom's voice thinned. "You never shared this success. You never inquired," I countered. Silence crashed like thunder. Next. The loan doc. Cody squinted. "A contract? For blood?" "Yes," I said. "Structured help." Mom recoiled. "For family? For accountability." Dad read aloud. Repayment schedule. Interest. Mandatory classes at the community center. Therapy with a licensed counselor in Missoula. Voice faltered. Standard terms, I explained. Teaches self-sufficiency. Harper teared up. "You're treating us like strangers." "You've treated me like backup," I replied even. Cody huffed. "Unfair." "Equitable," I shot back. Continued. Therapy to unpack our dynamics, no blame. Just insight. Mom stiffened. "We're not broken." "You said I was last," I reminded. "That's breakage." She averted eyes. Added. "Public owning at next gathering. Admit the tilt toward Harper. Dad shook. Embarrassing. Truthful, I said. Shame fades with honesty. Room constricted. Them shrinking. Pushed final page. Their tallies. Your figures. Your fallout. Term spare. Mom whispered. No help without this? Met her stare. I learned my spot Thanksgiving. If last here, I prioritize elsewhere.
No retors.
Placed pen atop. One day, same as mine. Dad. If no? Stood.
Jordan Rising. Endo solo.
Like I did. Door shut behind. Leaving them stunned. Call came 2 days on, Mom. Voice frayed. Will sign. No triumph, just weariness. Counseling next week. I'll forward Doc Ellis's info.
Pause.
Riley. We didn't realize. I know. Saddest truth. Blindness normalized hurt. She added. Soft, sorry. Chest cracked. Thanks. But apologies need work. That's therapy. Hung up. Sank to couch. Jordan held my hand. They agreed. Terrified, I confessed. What if surface change only? Then you proceed informed. You offered the rope. True. I'd drawn lines. Ball in their court. Months ticked by. Changes gradual as spring thaw. Harper and Cody inked the deal. Payments hit punctual.
No gripes.
Budget classes reshaped habits. Cody traded flashy gear for practical. Harper cut luxuries. No more entitlement gravity. Parents evolved slower. Therapy chiseling old ways. Doc Ellis probed. Patterns. Disparities. Unseen loads. Mom admitted first. We overlooked you. Tears flowed. Dad echoed. Breaking. Toughest. Recalling my milestones. Mom faltered on Harper's highs. For me, blanks. Your graduation? Doc pressed. Missed for Harper's shower. Voice shattered. We chose wrong. Dad buried face. Reality hit, not abstract. Visceral. My world expanded, upgraded to a brighter cabin with valley views. Mornings crisp and mine. Desk held essentials, laptop. Coffee. Succulent Jordan gifted. New roots. Weekends wandered trails. Talked dreams untethered. Jordan never diminished me. We built equal. Evenings. I grilled while they read. They'd glance. You glow now. True. Posture straight. Hands relaxed. Silence. Peaceful space. Lone stubs filed neutral. Proof balance possible. Before the last session, Doc Ellis noted, you've shifted the family's foundation. Brave work. Driving home under star-strewn skies. Cabin lights beckoned. Keys on hook. A quiet claim.
No ghosts Linegerth.
Families shift not always willingly, sometimes when the load-bearer steps aside. I trusted their last label. That's when I cued myself first. But cracks lingered in my resolve. That first therapy sit-down. The ranch living room felt like a pressure cooker. Doc Ellis, a no-frills counselor from town, set ground rules. Honesty without heat. Mom fidgeted with her coffee mug. Dad stared at the floorboards like they held answers. Harper crossed arms. Defensive, Cody shifted uncomfortably. I spoke first. Voice steady. This isn't punishment. It's reset. Doc nodded. Probing gently. Riley, what hurts most? Words tumbled. The truck at 16. Missed milestones. Constant second fiddle. Felt invisible. I admitted. Throat tight. Silence bloomed. Then Mom, we thought you were fine, independent. Independence forced. Not chosen, I countered. Tears welled in her eyes. Sessions peeled layers. Harper confessed envy. You always seemed so put together. Riley. I leaned on them because I could. Revelation stung, her pedestal wobbly too. Cody owned his recklessness. Bad deal snowballed. Assumed family net. Dad shared his upbringing, strict ranch life. Favoring the strong one. Mirrored my folks without seeing. Cycles exposed. Empathy stirred. Not overnight magic, but seeds planted. Between meets, changes showed. Harper called just to chat.
No asks.
Mom sent a card, handwritten, recalling a childhood memory of me riding solo on the range. Proud then, prouder now. Small, but seismic. Legally, the loan hummed smooth. Montana's family loan statutes allowed interest. Repayment enforceable if breached, though I hoped never to invoke. We filed a simple agreement at the county clerk. Transparent. No drama. Just safeguard. Payments built their credit. Classes taught fiscal ropes. Cody landed steady work at a feed mill. Humble but stable. Kids stayed in school. But with scholarships hunted, not handouts. My investments grew untouched. Funding a side venture. Ecotourism on leased land. Guiding hikes. Sharing the West's wild heart. Fulfilled me. Untied from family strings. One evening, post-session, Jordan and I hiked the ridge behind our place. Sunset painted the peaks crimson. Proud of you, they said, squeezing my hand. Not just boundaries, bridges too. Chest warmed.
Feels right.
Humane. The new ending wasn't revenge's cold bite, but growth's warm dawn. Lesson light. Families thrive when all stand equal. No one last. Yet doubt nipped. What if relapse? Harper's call tested. Kids recital. Want you front row?
No undertow.
Attended.
Applause genuine. Post-show.
Dad pulled me aside. Learning to see you. Kid. Hug awkward. But real. Therapy wrapped, doc. Tools in hand, use We did. Holidays shifted. Thanksgiving. No rankings, just shared stories. I carved turkey. Mom beside. Your turn. Laughter flowed free. My cabin evolved hub, family visit sans crisis. Harper helped with tours one weekend. Kids wide-eyed at bison herds. This your empire? She teased. Earned it, I grinned. Bonds mended. Not flawless, but fortified. I pondered the old pain. Now scar tissue stronger. Western life's harsh beauty taught resilience. Family echoed it. No more orbiting, I centered my constellation. Spring brought renewal. Ranch bloomed green, my business thrived. A quiet dinner with all, toasts raised. Mom, to balance. Eyes met mine. Gratitude deep. Lesson lingered. Speak truths early. Less silence festers. Humane path. Forgiveness with fences. Revenge faded. Redemption bloomed. Word count, 1012. But wait. This is file 3. Need to adjust for total. Continuing narrative seamlessly. As months unfolded, the changes deepened, weaving into the fabric of our lives. I found myself reflecting more. The inner turmoil that once raged, now a gentle stream of introspection. Why had I waited so long to claim my space? The answer lay in the fear of loss, the illusion that enduring neglect preserved some sliver of belonging. But in stepping back, I'd gained more. Authenticity, respect, even love untarnished by imbalance. Harper's transformation surprised most. She enrolled in online courses, aiming for a certification in ranch management, no longer content to coast. Inspired by you, she admitted over coffee one crisp morning at my cabin. Her words hit like a warm breeze. melting residual ice in my heart.
Cody. 2.
Shed his bravado. Therapy unearthed his insecurities from a rough childhood, mirroring Dad's. They bonded over shared stories. Fishing the Bitterroot River. Mending more than lines. Mom's evolution was poignant. She started journaling, unearthing memories she'd buried. One afternoon, she arrived unannounced. A photo album in tow, old snapshots dusted off. Me central in many she'd overlooked. I see now, she said, voice quavering. You were always there, shining quiet, tears shared. A catharsis long overdue.
Dad.
Ever the stoic cowboy. Showed change in actions, helping with my tours, teaching guests rope tricks.
Pride evident.
Built this from grit, he'd boast. Legal ties held firm, but softened by trust, payments a bridge, not barrier. My inner world flourished. Nights, I'd sit by the fire, journaling conflicts past, acknowledging the hurt without letting it define. Jordan encouraged, you're rewriting the narrative. Indeed, from victim to architect. Business boomed. I hired locals, giving back to the community that shaped me. A light lesson emerged. Equity in love isn't zero-sum. Lifting all strengthens the whole. No grand epiphanies, just steady growth. Like sagebrush reclaiming soil. One pivotal moment, a family crisis averted. Not through me,
but them.
Cody's truck broke. Instead of calling, they crowdsourced locally. Bartered services. Handled it, Harper beamed. Pride swelled, not schadenfreude, but joy in their wings. My revenge? Transmuted to redemption. The West's vastness mirrored my freed spirit, no more confines. The summer sun baked the Montana earth. But inside my cabin, a cool breeze from the open windows carried the scent of wildflowers. I just wrapped a tour group, their laughter echoing as they drove off. When my phone rang, Dad. His voice gruff but warm. Barbecue this weekend? Your call. No demand, just invitation. I smiled, the shift palpable. I'll bring the pie. Attending felt different, no undercurrents. Around the grill, stories flowed equitable. Harper's class triumphs. Cody's steady job. My business ventures. Mom raised a glass. To us, all equal. Eyes lingered on me. Acknowledgement silent, but profound. Inner peace settled. The drama storm had passed, leaving fertile ground.
Yet,
the path wasn't linear. A setback hit when Harper missed a payment oversight. She claimed. Old doubts surged. Was change facade? Called a meeting. Doc Ellis mediating remotely. Tensions rose. Harper defensive. Slipped my mind. I voiced hurt. Breaks trust. But instead of fracture,
dialogue demanded.
She apologized. Wired double. Lesson reinforced. Accountability ongoing. Legally, the agreement held interest accrued minimal, but principle stood. Montana law favored such pacts, avoiding court if honored. We amended slightly, adding reminders practical, not punitive. My introspection deepened evenings on the porch, stars blanketing the sky. Why the favoritism? Therapy unearthed. Mom's loss of a sibling young. Channeling all to Harper. Dad's pressure to provide. Overlooking emotional equity. Understanding bred compassion. Diluting resentment. I forgave, not forgot, but released the anchor. Jordan noted. You're lighter. Love. True. Burdens lifted. Creativity soared. Expanded tours to include storytelling nights, sharing family lore. Anonymized. As parables of growth. Guests connected. Mirroring my healing. Fall brought harvest. Metaphorical too. Ranch yielded bountiful, family bonds similarly. Thanksgiving redux, table set collaborative. I shared the carving knife with Harper. Laughter genuine.
No hierarchies.
Dad pulled me aside post-meal. Proud. Riley. Of who you are. Hug firm. Emotions raw. Inner monologue swirled. This. Redemption's fruit. Humane end. Not victory over them. But with them. Light lesson. Boundaries birth better love. Winter's chill tested resolve. A storm hit the ranch. Power out. Cattle at risk. Instinct urged aid. But I waited. They managed, community rallied. Lessons applied. Called after. We did it. Pride mutual. My cabin cozied with Jordan. Fire crackling. Families evolving, I mused.
Thanks to you, they replied.
Reflection. Revenge tempts. But humanity heals. The West's ruggedness echoed. Endure.
Adapt.
Thrive together. As spring thawed again, a new chapter dawned. Harper proposed joint venture, eco-ranch tours blending our spreads. Partners equal, she insisted. Agreed. Contract fair. Signing felt full circle, from division to unity. Mom and Dad beamed at the launch. Guests arriving. Inner joy overflowed. This, the unexpected consequence of standing firm. No more last. All first in our ways. The drama's arc bent toward grace. I pondered nights. What if I'd caved? Cycles perpetuated. Instead, confrontation catalyzed change. Lesson gentle. Speak your worth. Others may listen. Humane twist. Forgiveness amplifies strength. Western skies vast. My heart mirrored. Open. Resilient. Redemption not end, but ongoing journey. With the partnership thriving, our family narrative rewove stronger threads. Tours blended history with heart. Guests left inspired. Us bonded. One evening, post-group, Harper lingered. Riley, therapy opened my eyes. Sorry for the blind spots. Embrace shared. Tears mingled. We're good, I whispered. Inner relief. Wounds scarred over. Flexible now. Cody evolved too, mentoring youth at the mill. Paying forward stability. Kids flourished. Aware of equity. Aunt Riley's tough, they'd say admiringly. Parents' twilight year softened. Mom gardened with me. Sharing untold stories. Her dreams deferred. Projected unevenly. Learned late, she admitted. Dad fished with Jordan. Quiet wisdom exchanged. Balance key to ranching and living. Nods profound. Legally. Loan closed early, final payment a celebration. Shredded docks symbolically. Ashes to soil. No recourse needed. Trust rebuilt. My inner world. Turmoil transmuted to tranquility. Journaled less pain. More gratitude. Business scaled sustainably. Hired diverse crew. Community ties deepened. Jordan proposed under a harvest moon. Build forever?
Yes.
Ring simple as prairie gold.
Wedding intimate, ranch backdrop.
Family equal in toasts. Mom's speech. Riley taught us love's fairness. Tears flowed. Hearts mended. A crisis tested anew. Dad's health scare. Minor stroke. Hospital vigil united. No burdens assigned. Recovery home. Care rotated fair. Team effort, he grinned. Lesson embedded. Unity over hierarchy. Humane arc complete. From revenge's shadow to redemption's light. Reflecting on the journey. The shocking demand birthed unexpected growth.
Y stood firm.
But extended hand. Family rose. Bettered. Light moral. In kinship's drama. Boundaries foster blooms. Western ethos. Face storms. Emerge allied. No more last, all cherished. The end? A beginning. Endless horizon ahead.